Some American families spent years picking up what others left on the roadside. The poorer they became, the more dangerous it felt to leave it there. Today you would call it junk. During the Great Depression, a child could bring it home in a pocket and hear his mother say, "Keep that." At first, it sounds like desperation. People had no money, so they saved everything. But that answer is too easy. Families did not save every broken thing with the same fear. This one object kept appearing in barns, sheds, glove boxes, and coffee cans across America. Fathers twisted it around loose parts. Mothers saved it beside buttons and nails. Children learned not to throw it away before they learned why. Because sometimes this worthless scrap did not replace money. It replaced time. And time was what kept a family from losing work, food, and everything after that. The simplest answer is poverty. During the Great Depression, millions of Americans were saving things that would seem worthless today. Empty jars stayed on shelves. Worn buttons were cut from old shirts. Bent nails were straightened and used again. Nothing was thrown away if there was even the smallest chance it could be useful later. In 1933, and it crouched, nearly 1 out of every 4 American workers was unemployed. Families counted pennies. Children learned not to waste food. Parents learned not to waste anything. So when people saved old wire, the explanation seems obvious. They could not afford to replace what they already had. Case closed. Or at least that's what most people assume. The problem is that one detail does not fit that explanation at all. If poverty was the whole answer, people would have treated old wire the same way they treated every other scrap. But they didn't. Wire kept showing up in places where it could be reached quickly. Hanging on workshop walls, wrapped around fence posts, tucked inside truck toolboxes, stored beside spare parts. Why? Because wire solved a problem that money could not. It bought time. A loose exhaust pipe, a broken latch, a cracked bracket, a rattling battery hold down. None of these repairs were supposed to last. Everyone knew that. But a few twists of wire could keep something working until next week. Sometimes until next month. During the Great Depression, that delay mattered. Because every postponed repair meant one less expense. And every avoided expense meant a better chance of making it through another hard week. Now the wire was no longer just a scrap. It was part of a chain. A truck needed to run. A father needed to reach work. A paycheck needed to come home. Groceries needed to appear on the table. Break one link and everything after it became uncertain. That is why a loose part under the hood was not just a mechanical problem. It could become a family problem before sunset. A few cents for a proper repair sounded small from a distance. But inside a Depression kitchen, those cents already had names. Flour, beans, coal, milk, shoe soles for a child, so a father used wire to hold a bracket, to keep a pipe from dragging, to stop a latch from opening. Not because it was safe forever. Because forever was not the unit of time poor families could afford. They needed one more day. And sometimes, one more day was the only plan they had. That is the part most people miss. Families were not saving old wire because wire was valuable. They were saving options. Every coil hanging in a shed represented one more repair that might not require cash. One more problem that might wait. One more crisis that might be delayed. Today, a broken part is usually an inconvenience. During the Great Depression, it could threaten an entire household. That is why children learned not to throw useful things away. That is why fathers kept coffee cans full of scraps. That is why a piece of wire could survive for years. Not because it was special, because life was fragile. A missed day of work could become a missed rent payment. A missed payment could become a lost home. Looking back, the real story is not about wire at all. It is about an America where almost every family lived closer to disaster than most people can imagine today.